More news as Tony Buzbee, the attorney for the defendants, says today they filed the first case of what will likely be many against Houston Texans related to Deshaun Watson's behavior. There is overwhelming evidence collected indicating that the Houston Texans enabled Watson's behavior. They also believe that the Texans knew or most certainly should have known of Watson's conduct. And they believe that the cases will speak for themselves. In response to that, Josina Anderson tweets out a Texans statement. We're aware of the lawsuits filed today against the Texans. Since March 2021, they fully supported and complied with law enforcement. Various investigations will continue to take the necessary steps to address the allegations against the Houston Texans organization. With that, let's welcome in Tim Bielik from the Plain Dealer, as well as cleveland.com. So, Tim, a couple of things to unpack there. Texans now involved in the suit. Another reason for the NFL to want to get this behind them. And you hear the NFL pretty intent about getting a significant suspension for Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, that's been pretty evident, obviously, that, that's been the reporting for more than a week plus out there is the NFL wants the year plus suspension minimum. And obviously, it has been bad PR for the NFL for Deshaun Watson. And I think, the one good thing about this hearing being Tuesday is that we might be close to some closure. I think, all the uncertainty is kind of what's, causing a lot of, concern and anger across, the NFL and whatever, and maybe just getting some closure, something official as far as the suspension goes, that'll just, put an end to a lot of this and kind of push this off to the side a little bit. And I think for the Browns, I think we're kind of past the point where we're not expecting a suspension. I would be shocked, quite frankly, if there was no suspension. I think, the entire sports world would be pretty shocked at this point, considering all the cases against Deshaun Watson. I know he's settled a large portion of them, but they're still out there. All the information is still out there. We don't know what the NFL investigation has. And obviously the third-party arbitrator, Sue L. Robinson, she's the ultimate wild card because we have no idea, how she's going to rule. This is the first time the NFL has set this situation up as far as, having a third party determine whether or not a player is in violation of the personal conduct policy. And we don't know how she's going to rule because we don't have any basis for it. So it's just going to be fascinating to see what kind of comes down. Obviously, if she says there's no finding of anything to violate the policy on Watson's part, there will be no suspension. The NFL can't do anything about that. If there is, then we get into the whole complicated dance of, how long is this suspension going to be? This whole back and forth between the NFL and the Players Association. That's got the potential, I think, to get pretty messy if the owners are not willing to budge off that 1 year minimum.
Yeah, I agree with you wholeheartedly. And in fact, the only way that Roger Goodell doesn't have the final say is if Sue L. Robinson comes back and says there's no violation of the personal conduct code, there is no suspension. Otherwise, Roger Goodell or his designee has the final say so.